Hello class. Today we're going to be constructing scatter plots. What that means, constructing, means to take the scatter plot and just to draw it. So our first example we're going to look at is Jared's basketball team. They stood at various distances from the basketball hoop and counted the number of baskets they were able to make in 30 seconds. Use the data from the table to make a scatter plot. Then answer the questions that follow. So we have a bunch of kids who stood different feet away from the basketball hoop and tried to make baskets for 30 seconds. And this is how many baskets were made. Now, if we look at the graph, we can see that the distance from the hoop, this is our x variable. And the baskets made, that was our y variable. Okay, so we're going to need to go ahead and graph each of these points on the graph. So let's start. Jared stood 15 feet away and made 2 baskets. So right there. Okay, next was 45 feet away and 2 baskets. Oh, here we go. The next person went 30 feet away and made 5 baskets. The next person was 15 feet away and made 9 baskets. The next person was 40 feet away and made 1 basket. The next person was 30 feet away and made 4 baskets. The next person was 10 feet away and made 10 baskets. The next person was 35 feet away and made 3 baskets. The next person was 10 feet away and made 8 baskets. And the last person was 35 feet away and made 5 baskets. Okay, now we have some data and we are looking and we're going to answer some questions about this group of information. The first question asks, describe the type of association seen in the scatter plot. Meaning, is it positive, negative, or no association? We see a negative association. See the line going down? That would be a negative association. Next. Are there any points that don't fit the overall trend of the data? If so, explain. Okay, we've got kind of our line going on right here, but we do have this point that's hanging out over here away from everyone else. So this one seems to not quite fit. So yes, there is a point that doesn't quite fit right there. All right. Now we have a chance to describe any other observations you have about the baskets and the distance from the hoop. Anything else that you noticed goes here. Okay, what I noticed is that there's 2 groups. There's kind of this group up here, and then there's like nothing here, and then there's a secondary group. That's what I noticed. Okay. Now, we said this was a negative association. Now, what we want to do is we want to label one of these as true and one of these as false. As the distance from the hoop increases, so as we increase across the x-axis, the number of baskets made decreases or increases. Which one is true? As we get farther from the hoop, the baskets made decreases. So this one's true, and this one is false. Okay, now we've got two new vocabulary words that we're going to talk about along with this group. The first word is called outlier, a point that does not fit the overall association. You could also say pattern. Okay, it doesn't fit the overall pattern, association, or trend of the scatter plot. This is known as an outlier. Now, if you remember, we said that there was a dot that doesn't quite fit with everything else. This is the outlier. Okay, oftentimes you'll have somebody that doesn't quite fit with everything else, and that's okay. We still have the general pattern. We just need to acknowledge that there are outliers that exist. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about is called clustering. Okay, when there are distinct or separate groups of points. Why do you think clustering occurred in the scatter plot above? We have some distinct groups, okay? Why do you think that happened? Go ahead and put your answer right here. All right, knowing about outliers and clustering and creating our own scatter plots, we are ready to practice. Good luck and have a good day.